Hello there, this is Matt, and in today's video we're going to be talking about credit cards and specifically credit and how you could start building your credit if you have nothing to start with. So we're going to be covering 5 different steps of how you should be building your credit. The first step is getting a secured credit card. Now, what a secured credit card is, it's simply a credit card like a prepaid card that you could pay for. Let's say Capital One, that's the one that I would recommend. You go to their website, apply for the credit card, and they ask you to deposit about $50 to about $200 to be able to get a secured credit card. Now, what this secured credit card does is help you build your credit score. And the reason why you're depositing that $50 or $200 is because you have no credit history, and the creditor cannot trust you to pay back that amount. So when you put that deposit, that down payment, what it does is ensure the creditor that even if you're not able to pay back your balance, they could use that deposit to pay back the amount that you owe them. Having a secured credit card is going to be helpful for you to be able to build your credit. Now, what happens is that if you pay on time, if you pay your bills on time, you'll be able to build your credit over time. And usually, within the first 6 months, what happens is that even though your deposit amount stays whatever it was when you paid at the beginning, if you have paid your monthly due consistently without missing a single payment, you can increase your credit or increase your credit line. And this is usually done automatically. I remember when I was getting started, the first secured credit card that I had, I started with a $200 credit line, and after about 6 months, it was increased to $500. Now, a lot of people, after they get this secured credit card, they want to get rid of it after they're done. In a previous video, I mentioned that it's not good to close out an account. What you could do instead of closing that secured credit card after you have a really good credit score is that you could contact the creditor or the bank and ask them for a product switch or changing of product. So what that does is instead of closing that account, it just changes the product that they're offering you on that account. So if you had a secured credit card on a certain account, after you change the product, you have a different type of credit card. It might not be secured after that. But what happens is that you no longer are closing an account, which could potentially harm your credit score. So make sure after you're done with your secured credit card, never to close that account. Just switch the product to something else if you feel like you need to have a higher credit line from that certain card that you have. But usually I would say just keep that secured credit card basically forever, because there's no need to close it. You can just buy simple things with it, cheap things that you like, everyday expenses with it. So the next one is a credit building loan. And these loans would be really beneficial and helpful for you to start building your credit. But usually what happens is that you need a cosigner for these loans, since you don't have a credit line or a credit score. What you can do, you could ask your parents or someone close to you to co-sign the loan for you, and you would have to start paying a monthly payment in order to be able to build your credit. And usually a lot of people start with like a car loan, and with a car loan, when you have a co-signer, usually if you're the person paying the monthly dues, after 12 months the loan is basically under your name and it no longer affects the co-signer. But what you could also do after 12 months of having really good payment history, you could request to change the ownership. For like a car, you could request change of ownership. You will just have to fill out a new application with the financial service that you use. Let's say you bought a car from Honda. It could be Honda Financial Services. You just contact them, ask them for a new credit form. They send it in, you fill it out, and you just you do a transfer of ownership, and the cosigner is no longer on there. Next one would be if you were added as an authorized user to a certain credit card account. Let's say your parents have a good credit card. You could ask them to call their creditor or bank to request to add you as an authorized user. Now, what this does is it will give you access to their credit card, but also it will give you a new credit card, and you would be the person responsible for paying down the balance on the new card that you received. Now, keep in mind, when you do this, your debt is also added to your parents or whoever allowed you to add you as authorized user. So if you're adding debt to it, remember it's your debt and it's also their debt. You want to make sure that you're paying it down so you're not potentially harming the person who was generous enough to add you as an authorized user. The next one is paying bills. Now, I mentioned this in the previous video about improving credit scores. Bills can be very beneficial in increasing your credit score. Now, what bills are, it could be your cell phone bill or utility bills. So if you have a cell phone that you're paying $30 or $40 a month for, you could simply just put that on auto pay, and after a couple of months, since that account is under your name, you need to make sure that the account that you have the cell phone under, the phone number on there, is under your name. If it's under somebody else's name and you're making the payments, it won't count. So make sure the account is under your name. Make a couple of months of good payments, and you will automatically see an increase of your credit score because of the fact that you have been establishing a good history with creditors. And the last and most important one is that you need to make sure that you're consistently checking your credit score. You could do this through various apps, online, or just on your phone. You could create an account on this thing called Credit Karma. You go on there and create an account, and it will show you an estimate of your credit score. This is a good thing to do. It usually updates every 2 weeks to a month. You can see the changes to your credit score, and it also gives you an outline of the things that you could do to improve it. So make sure you're covering all those steps, and make sure you're not paying your bills late. Being late is the worst thing that you could do. Make sure you're paying it on time. One of the ways you could do that is to set up an auto pay. As always, remember to leave your questions in the comment section down below, like the video, and subscribe. Thank you.